gotten on air yet.
You gotta show
already.
Now we're on air. I wish it was 10 o'clock already. Sick. It's just impossible to deal with.
Wow.
Damon wants to do the Fetterman show.
Live from Studio 6B. Good night, everybody. Live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night, March 21st, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. Rick Delgado's here. He's going to do some news. David Zier's here. He's going to do some news. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. And, the guy's here, too. He's going to do sports. Slickster, how are you?
Hey, Big D. Hey, March Madness is in full bloom. Woo! Big upset today. We're rocking and rolling already.
249 brackets filled out for the LFS6B odds makers, which is, it's fine.
We're
going to round it up to 3. So we're going to go top 3 spots. We'll put together a free merch package for the top 3 people who place in the odds makers. And I have the possibility to be one. I think I'm like 32nd right now.
Oh, yeah?
Where am I?
I missed one game today. I don't know. You got to tell me what name you use. What's your name?
It's my name.
Oh, you used Rick Delgado? Okay, so I have to look on the...
He didn't recognize that name.
He's like, who the hell's this?
Who's this guy? I don't know where you or Slick are, but if you go to your own page, it should be able to tell you what position you're in. So we're off and running. And the March Madness brackets, 249 brackets filled out. We'll round it up to 3, so we'll place the top 3 spots. And it's already exciting. I watched a lot of basketball today, some good games, some heartbreaks as far as against the spread. If you were betting them, Arizona minus 20.5 wins by 20, scores 4 points in the final 5 minutes.
Long Beach State game.
Just brutal if you bet them, minus 20.5, brutal. So there's some of those already. So what else is coming up in sports, Slickster, tonight?
Well, we're going to do a little rodeo tonight, Big D, and of course we're going to recap all the games. We'll have live scores, and not a big day in sports. It's all about March Madness. All the coverage was on that.
Okay.
I was watching basketball since noon today.
All right, well, we'll do all that. We'll get everybody caught up with where we are. We'll take a look at the brackets as the night goes on. I'm sure positions will change as games end. Rick Delgado, how are you?
I am well. I got my bracket in last night before I went to bed, and I'm not sure who I picked because I filled out a bunch
Well, who'd you pick to win?
I may have picked
Gonzaga.
Auburn. Okay,
I may have picked Auburn. I may have picked Iowa State. I picked 2 for under when I signed in.
You like
but only
Bruce Pearl?
one. But only one ended up in.
Isn't Bruce Pearl your coach at Auburn?
Yeah.
He's not. No, they're not going.
I like Bruce Pearl.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He is. He's not mincing words.
No, definitely
about anything.
Well, they're already down 8. Just to let you know, to Arizona
Slick,
right now.
who'd you pick to win?
I've been saying Houston the whole time.
Oh, you picked Houston, right?
That's
okay.
it. I've been going
very
Houston.
good.
Houston's.
The Huskies are just too easy.
Yeah, okay, we'll see about that.
They're too easy.
Okay, we'll see about that.
Houston's going to get more.
I got them both playing.
David Zier's here. Mr. Zier, did you do a bracket?
I haven't had time to brush my teeth, so I have not.
Okay.
I have not, but I'll be watching some of the games.
All right, very good.
Exciting for these young guys, men and women, so...
He didn't do a bracket. He's just going to break a story on racketeering.
Bracketeering. But yeah, so there's so much going on. A lot of key court decisions coming down the pike. The Chevron case, it's just really a lot of stuff going Trump's way this week. So we'll get into that.
Well, okay, so you'll point out whatever you think it is going Trump's way. I don't know. You look at today, and I'm not going to get all fired up about it because we've talked about it till we're blue in the face. If you want to put up this footage, Aaron, as we talk here. If you're there are days that you have to feel like I do. I know most of you do, that you don't have you certainly, I don't want to say you don't have a government, but you certainly do not have representation in this government that represents you. You do not have for the people, by the people. You just don't. You do not have a party that is out there looking out for your liberty, your private property rights. No. As a matter of fact, they're doing the opposite. They're attacking all of those things through the fake lens that they put up of some kind of fake controlled opposition to the Democrats and to Biden and to their agenda, when meanwhile, the majority of them are there just to get along and go along. And this is why it's 90-10 in the Senate. This is why it's overwhelmingly a disaster in the House of Representatives. There is absolutely no doubt We are worse off today than we were 4 months ago, 5 months ago, 6 months ago, whenever we got rid of the last speaker. I sat here that day and I said we could very well look back in 4, 5, 6 months and decide that we are worse off than we are today. And this has nothing to do with the personalities. But it is unequivocally a fact as of today, we sit here tonight, this is the worst speaker that we've ever had. The weakest, the lamest. He does not have a set to be able to do this job in this time with this party against this opposition. He just doesn't have it. Because what is for this to happen on the day that they are legitimately funding this, continually fund this and every other asinine Biden pet project that they want to do. And you could spend all day going through all the language in this omnibus bill. Dropped at 2:30 in the morning. That's good, Aaron. Dropped at 2:30 in the morning. 1,000 or so pages. Brought up on suspension of the rules again, which I remind you, when John Boehner was a speaker or Paul Ryan was a speaker, the things on suspension of the rules was reserved for bills that was like renaming a post office, where there was absolutely no controversy whatsoever. That's the kind of stuff we did on suspension of the rules. Not these kind of bills. Not all of these must-pass spending bills that affect all of our lives. The 72-hour rule, he says today, Johnson says today, well, it's not, it's not set in stone. More important that, we just get it passed. We are worse off today with this guy, and it's not even debatable. This Republican Party, this Congress, this so-called fake majority that we have is useless. Useless when it comes to you, useless when it comes to your life, useless when it comes to your God-given rights in this country, your inalienable rights, which I don't think they even give a damn about. They continue to give up every leverage point they have for nothing. Not only do they give it up for nothing, they end up adding in worse stuff in the end result, in the end product. Keeps getting worse. There is no bottom for these people. There's no bottom. You watch the stock market, you watch these things, and you go, it's going to bottom out here, and then we're going to go back up. There's no bottom for these people. There is no floor for how bad it can get when you have people like this. Chip Roy tweets today, well, I'm so glad we have the majority of the Republican majority because we were, let me think about it, what we were able to do, and I'll get back to you. Maybe I'll think of something by tomorrow. Well, you won't think of anything. We have no movement. We have no messaging. We have no messenger. We have no movement. We have no story to tell. We are this party is fake, pathetic opposition. And in the end, it's get along to go along to get along. Because this thing is a disaster. And I know every time this comes up, we say this, but this might be the worst one. This might be the worst one. And where President Trump is, I have no idea. And I don't care how many people tell me, well, he's got other things to do, Damon. He's busy trying to do this with it. Well, that's all part of the plan. But you can't be the most powerful voice in the Republican Party only when it comes to election results and go, look what he did for Bernie Moreno, man. He's in charge. He's the man. He's the guy. And then on policy that is absolutely going to hamstring him if he gets into office, his comments are nowhere to be found, and nobody has a problem with it. He can pick up the phone and call Mike Johnson and tell him who he wants endorsed or who he wants this or who he wants to run the RNC, but he can't pick up the phone and say, no, this is unacceptable. This is absolutely unacceptable. You're tying my hands behind my back with worse spending than under Pelosi. What are we doing? And everybody's okay that we don't hear anything from him. I'm not. Because these are the times when if you care about outcomes and you care about things that matter at the time they matter, now is when it matters. And I've heard nothing. I haven't seen a truth, a tweet, a nothing about this spending bill. Has anyone else?
Nope.
Well, Chip Roy was saying even years ago when Trump was president that the Republicans in Congress didn't secure the border enough. So, they blew it then, too.
The one leverage point they have on an issue, as we have continually said, is such a winning issue. You look at that footage. You look at all the stories we've seen. Lake and Riley, go on and on. It is a winning issue that the American people understand and see it in front of them. And we don't have it in us to fight to shut down the border by saying, no, we're not going to fund the government. We're not going to fund that, which we just saw. We're not going to fund all this other stuff. We're not funding your green agenda. We're not funding. No, this is what we believe in, and this is what we're willing to stand behind. They just don't have it.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with what you're saying. They don't have the stones to do what needs to be done. It's an election year. Damn it. And you're right. Get along. What is it?
Go along to get along.
Go along to get along.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all. Most of these people are really good for anyway. Most of them are terrible. Most of them are people you probably wouldn't even want to be friends with in real life. I mean, look at the AOCs of the world and the Dan Goldmans. Unfortunately, two of the stupidest people are from New York. And then you see those pictures at the border where it looks like basically human locusts breaking down things and trying to get to the border wall. I mean, this is, I don't know what to say. I think those pictures say it all, really.
When you think about the Biden administration, most people think about the border.
Yeah.
They think about, it's been abundantly clear that this is going to be the issue that most people are going to look at and easily think of when you talk about Biden. Biden, border. Biden, border. Biden, border invasion. That's what people think.
Right. Especially now in the blue states, in the blue, and these other areas that normally have never seen any of this stuff, thanks to people like Ron DeSantis and the governor of Texas for giving him a little taste of what you guys love to talk about but never experience. Here it is.
Yeah.
Now it's in your backyard.
And Ben Bergquam's incredible coverage in Chicago this week of the illegal encampments right next door to homeless veterans living in tents. I had Pastor David Lowry on my show today. It'll be airing Saturday to talk about it more. That I'm a little bit more optimistic, Damon, that there is going to be action this year, and the Dems are going to lose in November. So,
well, after we pass the bill, we're going to have action? What do you mean?
Well, no, I'm just talking about this issue is going to come to a head this summer. It's going to be a boiling hot summer in the U.S.
Here's the problem. Here I see Warren Davidson on with John Solomon. Well, there's a lot of talk about whether Mike Johnson should keep this. We'll have him through the election, and then we're going to talk. It's too late.
Yep.
By then. Who cares what he does after the election? We need him now to have a set of balls. He has none. We don't need it in November. All right, sports and news. Coming up.
Live on the socials.
All right, live on socials here in the first break. Sound like I'm out of my mind? No, I'm not. I'm not.
You should be
It's ridiculous.
Should
This
be
party
pissed.
is ridiculous. They don't represent us. They don't give a crap.
Nope.
This guy's pathetic. Suspension of the people don't understand suspension of the rules enough to be pissed off as I am about it. For this to be being done under suspension of the rules is I don't even know what the word to put on it. It's so. Have you guys seen what's in some of these in this thing?
No.
Have you guys read some of the things where money's going to?
Pork.
It's not. It's worse than that. It's worse than that.
The
It's
woke,
things
the
that we all
transgender
right.
stuff.
It's things that these same people get in front of the cameras and talk about how much. Oh, we can't stand for that. All of their nonsense. It's all in there.
But it's usually used to promote controversial stuff, the suspension of the rules. But they're just shoving shit through. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, like I said, you like rename a post office or stuff like that because there's no debate. Doesn't go through the rules committee. It truncates all debate. There's nothing.
Yep. Yeah, I saw some examples on X today about the some of the stuff providing transgender community centers and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like,
$100 million to some group that thinks Israel should get wiped off the map. Hello? What?
That's sick. Hello.
Oh, I forgot. Okay.
Guest?
Did they send stuff over? All right, good. You know, what people should really be pissed off about tonight, pardon my French, is this whole idea of all of this being done under your nose under suspension of the rules. Suspension of the rules under John Boehner or Paul Ryan were for non-controversial bills that were just non-secular. They'll rename the post office or whatever. Not things like this. Not life or death budget bills, blowing out the deficit, hamstringing the next president, who we hope is Donald Trump. Things that really matter through suspension of the rules. So there's no rules committee that sees it. It truncates all debate. There's no debate. There's no rules committee. No amendments. Nothing. So we have the Republican speaker running this through suspension of the rules. So there's no debate, no discussions, no rules committee, no nothing. And he's done this on every one of these big bills. It's unexplainable. Unexplainable. We continue to go backwards with this party, and I don't know what else to say about it. Every single thing of consequence that has come up, this guy has taken us backwards in a short amount of time. And it started on the first day, when he was walking through the hallways there and asked about Ukraine, and he immediately caved on money there too. All right, let's do some sports. We'll change the topic. Sports is brought to you by I'm so pissed I can't tell you. I guess I can tell you because I just did. This party does not represent you. They don't care. Don't let them lie to you and tell you that you do in things that when it doesn't matter. Right now it matters. And they're nowhere. They're nowhere. All right, let's do sports. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the code to use at checkout. Slick Rick, what's going on?
All right, Big D. Well, you know how I love the audience, and whenever I run into anybody out on the road, but this was a special guy I ran into tonight. This is AmVets Post 48, the commander, Charles Watts, not the Charlie Watts from the Rolling Stones, which he was quick to tell everybody. He watches the show every night, and he knew. First, I hear Slick Rick when I walked into the meeting room, so I knew he knew the show. I love the Crazy Town and Damon and Zier and Delgado and what even is that? He knew the whole show. So good stuff. He says he loves watching the show. He needs this at night, 8 to 10. He gets a good laugh. He said, I got to go tell my brother I ran into you. So it was a nice story. So shout out to Charles Watts. We love our audience. But our audience, We have nothing. We'll be sitting around with Damon all night. There we go. NCAA men's basketball. Come on, Big D. It's all the talk today. Big D, you're not bad. You're in the top 42. I just checked the roster right now for the brackets, and then it's a big drop. It goes from everybody in 42. There's 4 guys who have 80 points. They're doing good. You have 60 points right now. You're in 42, and I have 50 points. But it goes from 42 to 120. Like, just skips right down there. So, we'll see. It's early yet, Big D.
What you're saying is right now I'm in the lead.
You are in the lead of me, yes.
Of this show.
Yeah, I didn't see Delgado.
Thank you.
So how are there like 240 brackets, say? What is that? Every scenario that could
There's
happen?
people that are choosing. There's people
249 people
are playing
set up their
with a
bracket, what they thought was going to happen in the tournament. Yeah,
right.
They picked all the games.
Yeah.
Who was going to win?
64, you have 64 games that are going on right now. So this is what we have. But right now, we're in the first round tonight, and it's going to go right through. Big D, we're going to be watching basketball till 2 a.m. tonight. But here we go. Let me give you some scores right now. Live scores, NCAA men's basketball. Here you go, Midwest region. Texas right now leading Colorado State 37-27, 11 to go there in the second half. At the half, Oakland edging Kentucky. Oh, looking for an upset there. 38-35. Iowa State, Rick, the great state of Iowa, right now leading South Dakota State 38-28. Minute to go there in the first early. Gonzaga right now leading McNeese 28-17. 7 to go there in the first. Now to finals, which is really where it gets interesting. Michigan State beat Mississippi State 69-51. I saw Tom Izzo today. It was a great game in the West region. Duquesne was the upset of the day so far, Big D. That's a number 11 beating a 6. They beat BYU. Bring them young and send them home old. They won 71-67. Creighton took care of business over Akron. I saw
people pick BYU to win the whole thing. So
that's crazy.
I had BYU
crazy.
getting at least 2 games.
I had BYU in
the games that I saw them play only twice. They were slicing and dicing their opponents. I'm like, these guys are so. Oh my goodness! Yeah. They ran great plays. They seem to be in sync, and they show up and do this.
No, listen. Somebody probably has Duquesne, but I didn't see that coming. But they had a big guy in the middle. He was a problem all night. And then we have Arizona taking care of business over Long Beach State, 85-65. Arizona is the home host state of the Final Four there. And we have North Carolina, of course, with the Tar Heels wiping out Wagner, 90-62. Illinois took care of Morehead State, 85-69. Oregon with a little bit of an upset, Big D. They beat South Carolina, 87-73. I had South Carolina. I thought South Carolina would advance. You had Oregon? That's good. And Dayton beat Nevada 63-60. Some other games coming up. Tennessee, Rick, your Vols, they're playing St. Peter's at 9:20.
I got St. Peter's.
Rick likes NC State. I know you love NC State.
I actually have 60 points in our bracket as well.
Do you? All right, so you're doing good.
Have it.
What do you wonder? What even is that?
No, my name.
All right, I got time. Let me get one. Can I get one more quick story in Big D?
Go ahead.
There you go. You're going to love this one.
Whatever.
Planet Fitness value takes $400 million nosedive following trans bathroom controversy. Dylan Gwynn of Breitbart right on it. Planet Fitness's status as a judgment-free zone appears to have significantly diminished its value as a company. The fitness chain saw a $400 million drop in market value after they canceled the gym membership of a person in Alaska who photographed a male transgender person shaving in the woman's locker room, according to a report in the Daily Mail. Planet Fitness's value dropped from $5.3 billion to $4.9 billion. The story of the man shaving in the woman's locker room went viral after being shared on the popular X account Libs of TikTok. The account, popular with those opposed to trans influence and radical gender ideology, has blasted Planet Fitness for prioritizing the inclusivity of a man as opposed to the safety and privacy of a woman. On Tuesday, Libs of TikTok boasted of the drop in Planet Fitness's market value and urged followers to continue boycotting. Whoa, Planet Fitness saw $400 million wiped off its value since we broke the story of them. That's terrible. 11 men and female lockers, and then banning the women who exposed it. It turns out people don't want to support companies who have to cave to gender pseudoscience, is a new word for me, and allow men in women's private spaces. A boycott Planet Fitness. Do not let up. Keep it going. And, Patricia Silva, the patron who had her membership canceled, says the 12-year-old girl was present in the locker room when the man began shaving. That's a problem.
Slick,
that's a problem.
Do we have pick number 1? I have a picture of that guy shaving in the sink.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Maybe we can throw that up there.
Yep. Oh, that's...
Are you serious?
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
And then they have a picture of him in a dress in another photo.
Oh, that's a problem. No question about
Well,
it.
you know what? So I'm glad I canceled my my membership before this happened.
Yeah.
I won't be going back to Planet Fatness at any time.
I think they're going to be calling him Planet Listless after this economy, man. That is really silly. So, it goes on to a few other things there. But the efforts to boycott Planet Fitness are reminiscent of the highly successful efforts to boycott Bud Light after the once popular beer brand embraced trans activist Dylan Mulvaney by putting his face on their beer cans. So there you go. Planet Fitness. Well, again, they're going to be listless. And that's a wrap in sports, Big D. Back to you.
All right, let's hear from a couple Republicans here on what they think of the budget bill that Speaker Johnson's going to get passed through the House tomorrow. Oh, great.
The silence seems accurate.
It's about accurate, yeah.
Yeah. Do we have
Typical movement.
Tell?
we have no internet here? What's going on?
You don't. I have internet.
Okay, well, I got nothing.
It's
So.
just the Wi-Fi from hunger.
I'll read it to you. Ron Johnson says, oh, here we go. Let's try now.
It's a well-honed process that has been plundering and mortgaging our children's future. This is what Washington has devolved into. It's disgusting.
Do you think the speaker got rolled in these negotiations?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think that his job's at risk?
I mean, I don't think near term probably, but, the question is next Congress, who's going to be the right person to be speaker? And I think this will factor into
The Democrats will
It's a
decide.
disaster. But since I've been up here, it's been that way. It always comes down to the last minute. Everything's pushed in.
What do you say to people who are frustrated at this process that produced a 1,000-page
probably loves
appropriations bill in the middle of the night that you have to vote on by tomorrow?
I'm frustrated too. There's a better way to do this. We should have been doing.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, but he's thinking of-
I'm frustrated too. The next Mitch McConnell. Great. All right, we'll do some news with David Zier and with Rick Delgado when we get back live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night right after this.
Akron, LeBron's land, Damon's favorite guy. Why would he be your favorite guy, LeBron?
Throw this tweet up if you have a second while you're getting what's his name on. This is exactly right for those of you in the audience watching. Mike Johnson's an unmitigated disaster as GOP speaker. No brains and no balls. Regardless of what happens for the duration of the year, at the rate Johnson is going, Dems may have a majority before the election. He cannot remain as GOP leader in 2025. That's exactly right. You think he's going to remain? Oh, no, we'll see after the election. Okay, after the election, well, we don't have a damn country anymore. That's great. I guess, Mike, we've all decided that you suck and you have to go. Okay, great. Okay, what am I doing here? Okay.
Yes. One bracket I picked Auburn to win it all. Another one, Tennessee.
Oh, you took Tennessee, huh?
But that I was trying to get that one into the into our group, but I guess you can only put one into the group.
Only one.
One per email. Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
register with a second.
You have other emails?
Because it got me excited. It said, "Do you want to do another bracket?" And I said, "Click yes."
And there was
So I
another.
did.
Just so you could pick another champion, a different champion.
Just so you can say, hey, I was good on the show.
Your Tennessee school and
Right.
your Auburn school.
Right.
He
exactly.
picked 8 schools.
I'm going with SECs.
What is it with you in Auburn? What are you, a Charles Barkley fan?
You know what? They're-
Yeah, what's you in Auburn?
Yeah, what is
What
it
are you, a
with that?
Charles
I got a
Barkley
shirt.
fan?
Yeah, I got a shirt. That's why.
Oh, yeah. It's
When I
like,
was there.
remember when you were a kid, your mother bought your Green Bay Packer pajamas and you became
No,
a Packers fan?
I didn't.
No.
Is that how you became a Dallas Cowboys?
No.
You got those pajamas, I bet?
That was my own choice.
Oh, you bought those
What a
pajamas
good one
yourself?
it's been.
That's
It's really led to years of joy, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has.
some joy.
You know what? Sports has been such a waste of my life. I could have did something really good in life, but I watch these damn games and get all bent out of shape, get all pissed off for hours when your team loses. It's crazy. As you get older, you realize what a waste it is, but you still go back. It's like crack. You can't give it up. You're like, I got to watch. I'm watching 12 o'clock. I'm like a degenerate. I'm watching these basketball games here. Mississippi State, Michigan.
buddy of mine put a Facebook thing up. He said, "Oh, hoops just started. I got 12 hours to go. Don't call me."
That's my kind of guy. Oh man. It is.
All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night. Real America's Voice. Glad you're in. Slick's doing sports. We'll continue to take a look at the March Madness brackets. Day one, yes. 64 going down to 32 by Saturday, 32 going down to the Sweet 16 by Sunday night. We'll know for next Thursday. We'll keep an eye on that. Rick Delgado and David Z are going to do the news, but please welcome back to Live from Studio 6B right now our old friend Joe Reek from My Patriot Supply. Of course, he's the Vice President Sales, and I got to spend some time with Joe at CPAC. It was great to finally meet. Joe, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Yeah, it was a pleasure meeting you there at CPAC as well.
Yeah, it was great to meet you. We haven't talked since then, but it was a good time there we had at CPAC, and a lot of talk about what you guys are doing. I noticed it, people coming up to me. I saw people coming up to you. You were there all weekend, and I think as we see the world, Joe, more things just unravel. I think people understand that, man, you got to be prepared for these you got to be prepared in more ways than one. And you guys are covering a lot of it. But just, again, for maybe new viewers, just speak to why emergency food, why people should stock up, why they need to be prepared, because you just never know what's happening these days.
No, you're absolutely right. And preparedness is more of a journey than it is a destination. And there's many reasons why people want to get prepared. We look at what's going on in the world today. We live in such a crazy world where things can happen unexpectedly. Just a few short years ago, we all went through this major pandemic where people would go to the grocery stores and the normal items that they would see there that they would purchase for their family simply was not there. And it really woke up a lot of people to the fact that emergency preparedness is no longer this closet type of a thing. People are coming out and they're actively getting prepared and telling and talking with their neighbors about it. So this term closet prepper is no more. It is becoming more mainstream. And as people see how crazy of a world we live in, they get this little sick feeling in their stomach and they know that they just got to prepare. Well, here at My Patriot Supply, we can help you get that peace of mind of knowing that you can be okay in any emergency situation. Here at My Patriot Supply, we specialize in long-term emergency food. We also have water filtration systems. We also have backup solar generators. We have freeze-dried fruits, freeze-dried vegetables, long shelf-life product. We even have little things like this, emergency water. Having these little pouches of water inside of your vehicle could be life-saving. Little things like that. Anything emergency preparedness, we deal with here at My Patriot Supply.
Yeah, and I think the thing that is that you talk about food, and it goes beyond food, because when you think about things that could get targeted in this country and things you see currently being talked about in the news, not only is it food, but it's obviously electric, it's the grid, it's our water. So I saw a headline today about the water system possibly having some kind of cyber attack. So you guys are covering all the bases, but let's specifically talk about some of the products for heating and cooking, because the grid is obviously something that we always talk about. Tell us about what you guys are doing there.
Yeah, so we have an amazing line of items that can provide you that warmth in times of need. So this little box behind me, this little Vesta heater, this is a self-powered indoor space heater. So when the power goes out and you're stuck in the middle of winter with no way to be able to heat up your home, this little Vesta heater is life-saving. We also have what's called the Ember oven. And this is the world's first portable oven that you can utilize, that you can take camping. It actually burns off of biomass. It actually can also burn off of our canned heat product that we have. But now you can have the ability to put items inside of your oven. You can bake your bread with it. You can cook the pizzas. You can continue life to somewhat normalcy by having these items. And again, these are all items that we have here at My Patriot Supply. Just one of the many things that we have with the fire, with the warmth. And because like we talked about, emergency preparedness is not just having food. It's having a plan. It's having different items available. We'd like to cover, the four major areas of water, warmth, heat, food, those items, we're all covered here at My Patriot Supply.
Joe, give the audience an idea of kind of like affordability, where you guys stand maybe as opposed to other competition in the market, and then let the audience know kind of what the best deal is that you guys are offering right now for the 6B audience.
I'm glad you said that, because we actually have a program here that's not really talked about a lot. A lot of people looking to get into emergency preparedness will look at these items and say, gosh, I'm not used to spending, 6 months worth of money on food for groceries. And so sometimes it can come as a little bit of a shock. But when you do the math on it, you can find that our product is probably a lot more affordable than actually going to the local grocery store. However, if you need help getting the package or the items that you need, we have a pay over time program. And this is a program that does not charge any interest. We don't run a credit check, but this will allow you to be able to break up your payments over the course of 4 to 5 months to kind of help you out to be able to get the things that you need right now, today, before an emergency happens. And this is available to anybody who visits the website, whether you go through preparewithrav.com or even if you come to mypatriotsupply.com, you can utilize that special feature that we have that really helps people out, especially when money is a little bit tight. And we know that money is tight because we see prices going up daily almost.
All right, go to preparewithrav.com, preparewithrav.com, as we tell you each and every night here. Joe, great meeting you again, and it's great having you back on the show. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks, guys. You guys be safe.
All right, there you go. Joe Reek from My Patriot Supply. Check him out, preparewithrav.com. I mean, that's a pretty good deal. No interest, no credit check. If you want to get it and you just want to be able to put it away, you can get it with no split it out. Break it up, no interest, no. That's pretty good.
No credit check, Delgado.
Pretty good deal. Delgado, you should go to get some too.
Shut up.
All right, speaking of Rick Delgado, let's do the news. And here with the news is Rick Delgado. What's going on?
I don't know. Maybe I'm too stupid to figure it out.
No,
you sat next to him.
We're talking about debt, not stupidity. Well, they go hand in hand.
Anyhow,
he's no debt.
This one story really caught my attention. I thought, you know what? With all the headlines we've been seeing lately, this story coming out of Scotland, I think, is something to keep track of. It has to do with basically free speech or the lack thereof. Again, it's coming out of Scotland. At the dawn of devolution, the article starts, its supporters predicted that the Scottish Parliament and Welsh Assembly could pilot innovative legislation which would show the rest of the country how it could be done. Well, things haven't really gone that way, and next month the infamous Hate Crime and Public Order Act in Scotland finally comes into force, which means it's already been passed, and now it's going to become be enforceable as a rule of law. Essentially, it allows the courts to jail individuals for up to 7 years for saying, writing, or posting any comment that is deemed to stir up hatred, it says, against a protected group, including disability, race, religion, and inevitably transgender identity. While the bill was making its way through the Scottish Parliament, the then Justice Minister, one Humza Yousaf, very Scottish-sounding name, you could tell, amended the draft legislation to remove the risk that detractors or promoters of performances could be charged with an offense. They're talking about, somebody singing, maybe doing some comedy, maybe acting. Despite this, leaked training and material produced from Police Scotland suggests the force will specifically target performers, with officers advised that offending material could be communicated through public performance of a play. So you're hearing this right, and it's not the only place in the world that this stuff is happening. Around the world, in Ohio, believe it or not, earlier this year, an Ohio elected official's constitutional rights were violated when her colleagues on a county board of commissioners had her arrested for criticizing the sheriff, just for criticizing someone during a public meeting, a meeting that she was in charge of. A federal judge ruled this week, which is insanity in itself. You want to hear some more headlines? Sure, of course you do. Okay, I'll give them to you. New Jersey, a Morris County woman imprisoned for her Facebook posts. This coming from January of this year because, they deemed her comments about judges, her complaints about judges, to be threats, and they jailed her. Another woman, Miss Gonzalez, argued that it was free speech and that she would never have been arrested had she not spoken out against her city manager. This coming from the New York Times. Another one from the New York Times, again from this year, January 18th. Arrest violated county officials' free speech, according to a judge. Nikki Frenchco, a Trumbull County commissioner, arrested at a public meeting after a dispute which she criticized the county officials. New York Post, another one. This woman faces 3 years in prison for saying that that a man cannot be a lesbian. A man, wow. Guess what? A man cannot be a lesbian.
Man, thanks for the clarification.
I just thought I'd add to that. Also, another one: a woman arrested on a hate crime of allegedly saying that men wearing a scarf and supporting, I think, Hamas it was. This one coming from CNN. You've got a UK woman arrested over a pro-Hamas speech. Are you getting a little hint here? A Swiss writer being jailed for insulting a lesbian journalist. And, of course, they're looking at the Scotland law, in particular, this story, because, everybody's favorite female and billionaire author, J.K. Rowling, has a home in Scotland, and trans activists in particular are rubbing their hands with glee, it says, at the prospect of wreaking revenge on their vocal political opponents. Someone like J.K. Rowling was recently reported to the police by trans activists after the TV presenter was allegedly misgendered by the Harry Potter author. So this is what you have going on around the world. And, of course, as you saw by some of those headlines, some of this stuff is seeping through right here at home. So things to pay attention to, and kind of scary when you start to look at the political landscape this year. Mr. David Navarro's ending up in jail. They're going after President Trump. It's all targeted. And if they can control what you say and what you think, they can control the narrative. That's what they're after. Another instance of this, believe it or not, comes out of Michigan, as a pro-Trump Michigan attorney was arrested after a hearing in D.C. over leaking Dominion documents. Now, this is from the AP, so that's their headline. But basically what happened here, Stephanie Lambert was arrested by U.S. Marshals after a hearing over possible sanctions against her for disseminating confidential emails from Dominion voting systems, the target of conspiracy theories over the 2020 election. Lambert obtained the Dominion emails because she represents Patrick Byrne. You know who Patrick Byrne is, right? Who's being sued by Dominion for defamation. In the statement, the marshal's office said Lambert was arrested on local charges. The Michigan judge earlier this month issued the bench warrant for Lambert, and she's charged with 4 felonies for accessing voting machines in a search for evidence of a conspiracy theory against Trump. Now, the rub here is that she came across this information as part of discovery. It's part of her job, and part of the, I guess, some of the things that go along with this, that if you discover a crime, you are therefore you're bound to report it. So this is what happened. Lambert contended that the documents that she found under Dominion obtained under discovery were evidence of crimes and needed to be disclosed. Patrick Byrne wrote on X that Lambert signed an NDA but found evidence of an ongoing crime, reported it to law enforcement like she's supposed to. It's almost like if she found a severed head in a discovery box, she would have a duty to report it to law enforcement as well. So as you can see, all this stuff is about shutting people down, whether it's speech, whether it's lawfare, you name it, across the board. This is what we have to deal with.
They did it to Christina Caramo up there as well.
All right, news with David Zier, a little more news with Rick Delgado, sports with Slick, all still coming up. Hour 1, live from Studio 6B. We're back right after this. It literally won't matter who's elected.
I think there's going to be a lot of fireworks this summer. A lot going on.
$200 million for a new FBI headquarters.
Yeah. Wasn't it $300 million before?
We're going to cut the FBI because we're not going to stand.
Yeah, originally it was a big number. Yeah,
we're not standing for this, man. They're going after Trump. We're not standing for this.
But Trump supported the new FBI headquarters, which was shocking.
He supported giving Ukraine. His idea was to give Ukraine money as a loan, whatever we played the other night. So I mean,
yeah. Well, it's better than carte blanche. You got to watch 20 Days in Mariupol. Got to rent it on Voodoo or any service. It is extraordinary. About when the
Take
Russians...
a look at my other brackets. What do I got? So in my other bracket, I got Auburn. I'm at 60 points. I got Texas A&M on my Must Be Dreaming bracket. That's when I pick all the ones that would never win. But I still picked Texas A&M. I got 60 points there. I'm on fire with this one, my UConn bracket. Because
how many did you do?
Well, me and Kayla did a bunch of brackets because she wanted to get. So
I'll just give you free T-shirts if you're looking for merch.
No, not on yours. She created her own. She's like, you have to do a bracket with me. I'm like, all right.
Oh, okay.
So then I picked all the favorites for my UConn bracket. Then my super awesome bracket, I got Iowa State.
That's what it's called, super awesome bracket?
Yes. And then I got my This Is Crazy bracket. Again, I got Iowa State. No, I didn't.
I'll just give you free T-shirts. That's terrible. Yeah, make some.
Where are you going? Oh, my goodness.
He's pinching a loaf.
Shut up.
You know, when is the show tomorrow? We discussed. We're doing it early? Okay, good. Hello.
Skittle. Got some Skittle. Oh, look. Live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice on a Thursday night. Tomorrow's going to be Friday. We'll kick off the weekend. I do have a What Even Is That on tap that I finished today. That should be fun, I hope. I hope it doesn't suck. Slick Rick will do sports in just a little bit, but right now, before we turn it over to David Zier, this will be of interest to you, being the political head that you are. Indicted Senator Bob Menendez teases an independent re-election run if exonerated. In other words, it looks like he's going to be stepping away from the Democratic Party, as Bob Menendez announced earlier today that he's hopeful he'll be able to run for a fourth term. That's 2 terms too many in my eyes. In New Jersey as an independent, as he faces federal bribery charges and hopes to be exonerated before the general election. He said in a 9-minute video announcement, which was 9 minutes too long, which he posted and then quickly took down. I guess maybe it came out terrible, that he will not be running for re-election as a Democrat ahead of the Monday primary filing deadline. So there you have it.
Yeah, he's not filing for the primary.
Coming out of, well, that's what I just said.
Yeah.
So there you have it, coming out of New Jersey. For more news, let's turn it over to David Zier. He's over Zier now. David Zier, how are you?
I'm well. Thank you guys so much. It's a really busy news cycle, but I have some, I don't know if it's fun or bizarre, but Riley Gaines, cut number 1 on Piers Morgan, shut down this guy. Watch this.
Riley, I want to ask you a question because a lot of this is to do with sport and how you feel it's unfair because you're up against people with
unfair.
A bigger body, right? So do you think it's unfair that someone who's taller than you or has more strength than you can be in the same team? Is that the argument we're making here? Is that what's unfair?
I think it's to do with the chromosomes, but I'll let Riley answer that.
The conclusion you're drawing, let's look at this for what it is. A man, on average, you take any sport, you take track and field, you take swimming. Swimming is the sport I played, let's look at swimming. across the field consistently, if you look at the world record against the men on the men's side versus the world record on the women's side, consistently that athletic performance gap is 10 to 12%. Someone being a few inches taller than me, it does not make up for that 10 to 12% performance gap we're talking about by having a man competing against a woman. Of course, there are natural advantages that people possess, but what we're talking about specifically here is beyond comparison to what the conclusion you're drawing right now.
The conclusion I'm drawing is that we should just get rid of gender altogether, and we should have sports based on body metrics, because then
so you would like to have the Olympic. So just to be clear, the Olympic Games, you'd have gender neutral.
Yes, I would, because the only reason, Riley, surely you agree, the only reason women's sport exists is because men were gatekeeping sport for so long, and then finally said, you know what, fine, have your own. But really, if we just remove
how many biological women?
If we remove gender from
Men were gatekeeping sports. Okay.
Yeah. And then finally said, okay, have your own. And now they have their own, and they'd like to keep their own, but there are men who don't want that to happen.
I can't sleep at night with these people. But I wanted to tell you what this teacher... This is from Tiffany Justice from Moms for Liberty, who we love. Cut number 2. This is what the teacher thinks about 3-year-olds.
I posted that video on my Instagram as well, and it got an insane amount of hate. So I'm going to share more positive interactions with the preschool age kids I work with. For context, I'm a trans person who does not pass as the gender they identify with. Yesterday, one of the other staff came up to me, and she was talking to me and then started talking to the kids about me, and she used she, her pronouns for me, and one of the kids interrupted her and went, he's a boy. So, you know what? Pop off. My biggest allies are 3 years old.
Yeah. Take your kids out of school immediately. Run.
By the way, the Riley Gaines clip, a little later on in that clip, she totally bodies that guy.
It was too long.
And
but
says, and says, let me ask you a question. Do you support getting rid of making people who would go to the Paralympics go to the regular Olympics?
Yep.
And of course, he goes, that's a really good question, which I'm going to have to think about. And the whole panel just loses it.
Because that would be kind of unfair to them with their paralegals, Paralympic stuff.
One of the few times I agree with Piers Morgan, by the way. I just wanted to play this for you. I've got 2 quick things here. Fannie Willis is such a clown. So unqualified to do what she's doing. She puts this guy on the stand who's a wheelman in a robbery. Check it out. He's too high to testify.
Fannie Willis having a pretty tough week. Friday, Loverboy was forced to quit the Trump Georgia case, and Fannie may not be far behind. Today, Trump's legal team appealed the Fannie Willis disqualification, taking it all the way to the Georgia Supreme Court. And then things got worse. Yesterday, during a different trial involving a RICO case, remember AOC, with a popular rap artist, her star witness showed up too high to testify.
Man, can I get a water or something? I'm so high right now, y'all. I'm about to go to sleep on y'all now.
Truly incredible.
He could be the chief
Fannie
of police
put
down
that
in Houston.
man
Oh, yeah, just chill.
The alleged getaway driver during an armed robbery.
All right, Aaron, that's
that
good.
guy was.
This segues into the story today. David Schaefer, one of the 19 defendants in the so-called RICO case in Georgia from Fannie Willis, they got some, I guess, temporary relief today that the motion to disqualify Fannie Willis was granted by the appeals court. So another decision that has helped the defense and Trump this week. There's been a lot of them. So we'll get into more later.
All right, very good. David Zier. We'll do some more news with him later as well. Yeah, the Riley Gaines clip, you should watch that. Speaking of clips that are good, and just people who, get a little overmatched. We have another episode today of Senator Kennedy Speaks to an Idiot. And this is what it sounded like. Some of the green freaks showed up in front of the Senate hearing, and here's just a little bit of how this sounded.
It's funny.
Oh my God, with this.
Mm-hmm. He looks very scary.
Yeah.
Why is it I can't get this to work? All right. Well, an idiot tries to get Senator Kennedy to to talk, but it's not working. All right. Rick Delgado, let's do a little more news. I'll try to get Senator Kennedy to work. I don't know what's going on.
Wow.
All right, what else is going on with your news?
All right. Well, embattled New York AG Letitia, is it Letitia?
Letitia, yeah.
Letitia
is accused of bullying women with transport stamps in new federal lawsuit. The New York Attorney General ordered Nassau County to cease and desist their new ban on biological males competing in female sports. This is even after Jenner showed up. Can I just say Jenner? I'm not going to say the first name. And they get upset if you call them Bruce. Whatever. In the latest saga, in the latest saga pitting New York's Democratic leadership against a Republican-led county fed up with progressive mandates, Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman issued the executive order back in February. James then turned around this week and issued a cease and desist order against the county. Then the New York Civil Liberties Union got involved, and they filed a lawsuit on behalf of a women's roller derby team, calling the order harmful, transphobic policy. Now Nassau County is taking James and the state of New York to federal court, alleging in another lawsuit that the Attorney General is unconstitutionally discriminating against women and girls. This is not anti-trans. This is protecting women and girls, Blakeman said after a news conference, of course, alongside trans activist Caitlyn Jenner, arguing that his order protects female athletes from bullying and ensures fairness and safety on the playing field. So there you have it.
Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman, big trumper.
Yeah, and this is how you have to treat these wacko liberals. They want to take you to court, take them right back. Force it on them.
All right, hour 2 live from Studio 6B coming up. We'll start it with Senator Kennedy.
Are you sure?
I think. Talks to an idiot.
He's at a loss for words.
It's really weird, Fran. Every time I bring a video back to the beginning to try to start it, it just does that thing where it freezes up. I've never seen this happen before on X.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten rid of the D.
That sounds like a buffer issue, but maybe they changed something on their coding if it's only happening on X.
Like if I refresh the whole page here, if you're watching, and I go down, it plays automatically. See, perfectly?
Can you turn off autoplay?
I don't know.
David,
but then if I grab the little thing and I bring it back to the beginning.
You have some good guests?
Yeah, I got a good show.
Yeah,
that time it worked.
It's because I'm watching you do it.
Yeah, just make sure Fran is always watching it. It'll always work.
Okay. All right, I think it'll play now.
It'll play now, just not in 2 minutes.
Yeah, right. Now we're back on the air. It'll play great now. God. Okay, let's go over to our Facebook friends. Are we live on Facebook right now?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
It's 400.
I see 220.
I see 380 right now.
If you're on Facebook, make sure you hit the thumbs up, and share it to your page if you can.
Hey, Jane Bonvillan. Laura Jean, Slick Nose, Sports, No Politics.
Want to read anything good about you? Let's start. David Zia.
Zia and Solomon, Walking Encyclopedias.
I know nothing about politics. I know a lot more than these people.
Hey, Kathy.
I'm a hell of a lot more involved in them.
That's right.
On a local level.
That's right.
You sit here and take pop shots at guys in Congress.
That's
I know
right.
so much on a local level. It's unbelievable.
Exactly.
No, but your stuff is political because It's a sign of the times, everything you report.
No question about it.
It's all relative. It's a gauge of where we're at, right?
Thanks, Sean.
As society. Right, Slick?
Pam, how are you?
You know?
Randy, Luann. Hi, Janice. Laura Jean says, I love David Z. I'm on the record now.
Oh.
Tammy says, love you guys. Janice. Roy from Texas.
Hi.
Live from Studio 6B, Hour 2, 9 p.m. on the East Coast, Real America's Voice. Glad you're in. If you're watching on Getter at Real AM Voice, make sure you follow Real America's Voice, all their social. Make sure you follow us as well at LFS6B. We're streaming on our Facebook page. Great community building back up over there on Facebook. Always been a good community, but we haven't been live there for a long time. Now we're live every night. Numbers are getting back pretty good. 20,000 the other night on the show. So make sure you like and share the show. YouTube as well, kick.com. Other places we're going to continue to try to expand. We're trying to get Instagram to take us live, but I don't know. Seems like it's more hassle than it's worth. Slick's going to do some more sports. Delgado's going to do some news. David Zier's got some more stories coming up. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. Fran, welcome back. Glad you're feeling somewhat better. Somewhat, yes.
We missed you last night.
Let me just say this to you. If you called me and said I was half dead on my deathbed, I would have rolled the bed into a ambulance and brought you here to lay down and do the music after last night. So, because I was not going to take another night of that.
You'd have been surfing in the bed of Damon's pickup truck, holding on for dear life as he's driving into the studio. I don't care if you're dying. Get in there.
Please.
Damon, considered driver that he is.
DJ Oates, one night is one.
Oh, DJ
You know how you go see somebody that's like one night only? Big, whatever, Prince, one night only at the Garden. Well, last night was our one night only.
It was a residency. He needed to be committed. Harry doing his residency. Oh my!
I talked to him today. I said, Harry, why can't you start when Aaron says 3, 2, 1, go? Well, I want to listen to.
He's working up his mix.
He's an artist. He's an artiste.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he's an artiste, all right.
He was making a mess of it last night.
Yeah, sure was.
He had good tunes though last night. Some good tunes though.
Yeah. Only got us thrown off YouTube and Facebook.
Right.
Yeah, and they were great songs tunes. If you like picking them up halfway in the middle of the song.
Right.
Exactly.
On the 3.
Love Harry,
and half as loud as they need to be.
Exactly.
Can't hear it.
Is there something playing?
This would be a great song if you could hear it.
He was feeling his oats.
All right, Senator Kennedy, another edition of Senator Kennedy Speaks to an Idiot. Now, these idiots showed up because, of course, they want to spend $50 trillion, and they want to come after your stove. They want to come after your fireplace. They want to come after your... I have what? Okay, great. All right. I don't know what it could be. What could it be?
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know. Tom, is it gone now?
See, this is live TV.
Okay.
No, it's our stream. You're listening to ourselves.
Sorry about that. I had something playing in the background. So, these people want to spend $50 trillion, and they want to come after your trucks, your cars, your stoves, your pizza stoves, your pizza shops that you love in your little neighborhoods, the EPA. Just like the Interior Department wants to come after your single-family residential housing with AFFH. The government wants to come after your money, of course. They want to come after everything. But these people specifically, the green scam lunatics, want to spend $50 trillion to get us to carbon neutral because they understand this topic so well. We went from cooling to climate cooling to climate warming, climate heating. Now it's just climate changing.
Right.
And they understand it so well. So they were there today, and Senator Kennedy had some questions for one of the young gentlemen who says, oh, the winters are, I can tell I'm a skier. The winters are really, oh, man. It's the CO2, you know. It's the carbon dioxide. They don't know what it is, but it's something that's making all of it worse. Well, here's a little bit of that exchange.
What is carbon dioxide?
I went to high school, but that's carbon dioxide is a gas.
Okay.
I'm not a professional to talk about carbon dioxide so much, but
well, you want us to abolish it, right?
No, there's always going to be carbon dioxide.
Right. So what is it you want us to do? Let me back up because I want to. I mean, you're here as an expert. Tell me more about what carbon dioxide is.
I'm here as an expert cross-country skier who sees the changes in my winters and the landscape that I live in Alaska. And so carbon dioxide is what I see it as is, it's a gas that exists in our atmosphere. Right. And
is it the major part of our atmosphere? Or?
It's a huge part of our atmosphere, yes.
It's actually a very small part of our atmosphere.
0.0004%.
Well, okay. But, yeah, I don't know. What are you asking specifically?
Well, you said we need to reduce carbon dioxide emissions. I'd like to know first if you know what it is. You want us to abolish fossil fuels?
I never said that.
You never have said that?
No.
Okay. What do you think we ought to do with fossil fuels?
What will we do with fossil fuels?
Yeah.
Wow.
Will we make any changes?
Wow.
I would like to see a decrease in the use of fossil fuels. I think there's a possibility to use more electric generation.
Okay. Over what period of time? 10 years, 50 years, 100 years?
That's not. I would like to see it come as fast as possible while continuing.
How fast?
Sorry?
How fast?
I don't have a good answer for that. No.
Okay. You just think, well, how much will it cost for us to become carbon neutral in the United States by 2050?
I'm not a professional on that. I don't have an answer.
You don't have any idea?
No.
You just think we ought to spend the money?
I'm not an economist.
Yeah, but it's going to cost money. You realize that?
Yeah, but we've also talked about the trade-off of what the cost of climate change as emergencies will cost in the future also. So
right, but it's going to cost trillions of dollars to become carbon neutral by 2050, right?
I do not know.
You don't know. You just think we ought to do it.
I don't have a great answer for you, but I think I would.
If we spent those trillions of dollars and became carbon neutral by 2050 in the United States, would you advocate how much will it reduce world temperatures?
I don't have an answer for that.
You don't know?
No.
You just think we ought to spend the money and then see what happens?
I think as an athlete, I think if we spend that money and invest in our future, hopefully those temperatures stop rising and maybe the snow at least stabilizes where it is for me.
The snow stabilizes.
Yeah, I don't think anyone
Alaska.
knows for sure. I don't know anyway.
In Alaska.
Well, when my colleagues invite witnesses to come to us to tell us, advise us on passing legislation, I always check out the background of our witnesses because I like to know who I'm talking to. I checked yours out, Mr. Schumacher, and I want to be sure I understand it as I evaluate your testimony. On June 8, 2020, you tweeted, I'm going to quote, "The war on drugs was intentionally created to incarcerate black people en masse," end quote. The war on drugs, you said, was intentionally created to incarcerate black people en masse. Who intentionally created the war on drugs to put black people in jail? Who were you talking about?
I don't remember typing that.
You don't?
No.
It's on your Twitter feed.
Maybe a retweet. I don't know. I haven't used that in a while.
Well,
Also,
even if it's a retweet, it shows your support, right?
Maybe, yeah. But it's not the topic of this conversation.
Right. But it has to do with you're here giving us advice, and I just kind of like to know a little bit more about your.
Yeah, I'm here as an athlete, giving you my story and what I've seen in my field.
On August 27th of 2020, you tweeted this quote. I'm going to quote: "Police are paid with taxpayer dollars. If they are not answerable to us, we can demand new service, and that's what this is. Abolish the police in favor of that new service," end quote.
I would think you'd remember that.
You think we ought to abolish the police, do you?
Again, not the topic I'm here to talk about today.
I know, but you tweeted it. Do you think we ought to abolish the police?
That's not what I'm here to talk about.
Should we do that before or after we get rid of fossil fuel?
I'm not going to address that.
You don't want to address it? Okay. Let me ask you about one more of your tweets. On August 26, 2020, you tweeted, there's a picture. I'm not going to describe the picture, but you said, quote, your words, not mine. It's on your Twitter feed. Quote, "This is what systemic racism looks like. The Los Angeles Police Department is literally policing only the Black Lives Matter side." End quote. What'd you mean by that?
I need to talk about that.
This is still off topic.
No, it's not. You're here as an expert telling us, advising us, and I'm asking you about your background.
I'm here as an athlete to talk about the effects of climate change on my sport.
Okay, let's go back. Well, I'm almost out of time.
Senator, you're well out of time, and we have other senators waiting, so please wrap up when you have a moment.
All right. Thank you.
He's pretty much wrapped up. Another genius on a movement here. The movement to save the planet.
Yeah.
This is how serious they are, folks.
Yeah, Mr. Schumacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Greta McConaughey.
Oh, my God. Yeah, one of the stay on topic.
He's terrible.
Yeah, stay on topic. I mean, if he went to hire a new coach to teach him how to, cross-country ski, would he be interested in more than just, how tall the guy is? He'd probably want to know stuff about his background. Do you know this? Do you know how to do that? But, again, so serious these people are. And
seriously stupid, too.
And the Democrat Party will put these people on a pedestal, bring them to hearings, put them up as the reason that we need to spend $50 trillion. The reason that you can't drive your pickup truck or your other whatever gasoline truck that you want.
Throw some stats out there at least. Like, he knows he's going before America in Congress.
Nothing.
Spend 2 hours in your room the night before and study some facts. And
yeah, maybe bring a flashcard with some highlights or something. I mean, even Biden carries around a little note card. Jeez.
Yeah. And so and again, and I play that and bring this up on a day like today because the Republicans are funding this nonsense today. They're funding nonsense like this today in the budget. So guys like that can tell us things like that.
You'd think they give them a prepared statement at least, or something. It's pretty extraordinary.
It is.
As they're literally coming after every part of your life that they want the behemoth, one iron-fisted top-down government to control. Your stove, your energy, your food, your roofs, your car, your food, your water, your electricity, your money, your wealth, your upward mobility, everything. Everything. And these are the people who are the experts. And not only do Republicans sit there, and again, Kay Kennedy, takes them apart, but over the House, take a look at what's in this bill they're passing for people just like him. He'll be very happy tonight, that guy. Very happy. He'll be calling Speaker Johnson saying, thanks so much. All right, news and sports all coming up. Live from Studio 6B.
That's crazy. I think they're like ESPN something. It's an assigned name if you don't change it.
Right. You have to go in and change.
Yeah, they got to change it.
You have a read here.
Wow, Kentucky's in a tough game with Oakland. Holy moly.
No, what the hell?
2-point game. You see that?
Ugh. Leave it to Kentucky.
Yeah, they would be one to
ruin everything.
Yeah, they would be one to screw the pooch on that. It would be.
My laptop ran out of juice. I had to plug in.
Yeah, everybody knows.
Yeah.
Dude, you were clanking around.
Oh, you had Texas, Big D. Texas won 56-44.
Did Texas win?
Yeah, they beat Colorado State.
You should have heard Kayla at home. She was screaming. She was like, why do they keep shooting threes? They keep missing them. She was pissed.
Yeah, they won, Texas. Big D, you took St. Peter's as your upset over Tennessee? Did you say that? No, I don't know. I'm not looking. I thought you said, yeah. Well, when Rick mentioned Tennessee, I had St. Peter's. You said that in the beginning of the show.
What bracket is that?
That is the Midwest.
Midwest. South played no game. Did they play any games today? Kentucky Oakland's playing right now.
Yeah, that's a good game.
Who did I pick in that game? 67-65. Wow.
Oh, you picked Kentucky. Come on, you would not pick Oakland.
Who did I pick in that game?
They're down 2.
Nobody had Oakland.
Oh yeah,
They'll win.
I picked Texas Tech and Kentucky in that top.
Texas Tech? Oh, come on. Carolina State.
And that's later on. That's 9:40. That's a good game. You like NC State, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to lose another one. I picked McNeese over Gonzaga.
Oh, come on. How would you pick?
Not too good.
I mean, Gonzaga is kind of a weird team this year.
Yeah, but McNeese won 31 games.
Well, that doesn't matter. I picked everything. I looked at the spreads. I picked everything against what the odds makers set the lines at and what I thought that meant.
North Carolina.
I had Oregon.
See, they look strong, huh?
I had Oregon. I had Creighton. I had Texas. And no, I picked Tennessee over St. Peter's.
You also have an AMAC grade.
Did you take Drake or Washington State?
Where's that on the bracket?
That's in the East. That's the last game. It's 10 o'clock tonight. Remember Drake used to call
20 seconds.
I got Iowa State over Drake, so I picked Drake.
AMAC.
Let me talk to you about our friends over at AMAC. AMAC is the Association of Mature American Citizens, an organization who's not only dedicated to America's seniors, but is vital for conservatives of all ages. And man, given what's going on today, I mean, how much more important is AIM to have an actual organization that believes in actually conservative values and actually has the courage of their own convictions? Because your party doesn't. AMAC stands out by not only advocating for senior issues, but also by pushing for conservative values that affect us all. Mike Johnson, pay attention here. By joining, you're not just supporting our senior citizens, you're part of a movement defending our freedoms and securing our nation's future. Plus, membership brings you exclusive benefits like discounts on travel, dining, entertainment, and special insurance rates. Regardless of your age, if you're driven to preserve freedom, AMAC welcomes you. Well, most of the Republican Party tonight can't probably even join AMAC then. This is about uniting youthful vigor with the wisdom of experience in our quest for conservative principles. Sign up now at amac.us/Studio6B. I encourage you to do this, amac.us/Studio6B, because at a time with what's going on in this government, an organization like AMAC is more important than ever. And for a limited time, not only if you sign up, you get your membership, but you'll get a free gift membership for someone who shares your love for our great nation. Don't miss out on this chance to make a difference with AMAC. Join today, amac.us/Studio6B. It's absolute peanuts to join. It's the best deal going. amac.us/Studio6B, and then extend the invitation to a friend or family member absolutely free. amac.us/Studio6B, amac.us/Studio6B, an organization that actually believes in what they say and stands up for the values that they espouse that are important to them. Unlike your Republican Party, who is just fake opposition. AMAC, check them out. amac.us/studio 6B. 19 past the hour. Did we do sports? No, we didn't. Let's do sports now. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell and MyPillow. Use our code LFS6B when you shop there. Great savings, great stuff. Plus, you can get the shirt of the month absolutely free. Send in your MyPillow receipts to LFS6B@yahoo.com. It's right there on your screen. LFS6B@yahoo.com, and we'll send you the shirt of the month absolutely free. Slickster, what's going on?
All right, give you an update in NCAA men's basketball. March Madness kicked off today. Here we go, Big D. Oakland right now leading Kentucky. A little bit of an upset developing there. 67-65. 3:55 to go in the second half.
69-65 now.
Oop, they just got another basket, huh? Right on the money. All right, then we got Iowa State leading South Dakota State 64-46, 10 to go there in the second. And Gonzaga absolutely taking it to McNeese and blowing them out. 11 to go there. It's 66-37. That's pretty much in the books. And then one more final from earlier. Texas tops Colorado State 56-44. Let's get over to the ice. NHL action. Rangers right now leading the Bruins. That's a good game. Those are two top teams right there. 3-2. Those teams are going to be coming out of the definitely coming out of the East there. 5:33 in the third.
Are they fighting for the President's Cup?
They are definitely. They're like within a point or two
record?
of each other. Yeah, it's a good big game tonight for the Rangers. They get that win. Blues over the Senators 4-2. 6 to go in the third. Looks like the Islanders are mailing it in Detroit. They're losing 5-2 to the Red Wings. 9 to go there in the third. Islanders look like they're going to slide right out of the playoffs. Unbelievable. Devils over the Jets 3-1, 8 to go in the third there. The Hurricanes over the Flyers 2-1, 11 to go in the third. End of 2. Preds over the Panthers 2-0, and the Sabres blanking the Oilers 1-0, 14 to go there in the first period. Let's get to a quick story here. Now, this young lady, she's definitely making gains. Manhattan's largest school district approves resolution to ban trans students from girls' sports. Warner Todd Houston of Breitbart. Manhattan, New York's largest school board district, has launched a new resolution banning female-identifying transgender students from playing in girls' sports, despite opposition from city council members and even actor Elliot Page. Community Education Council's District 2, which controls schools from Manhattan's Lower East Side to the Upper East Side, passed the policy in a lopsided 8-3 vote on Wednesday, the New York Post reported. The vote was held at the end of a packed meeting during which pro-transgender activists and city officials argued against the ban. New York City Council member Eric Botcher spoke against the policy, calling the proposed regressive and harmful. The proposal. We are outraged that you are considering a resolution targeting transgender girls and sports. It is utterly shocking that such a regressive and harmful resolution is being proposed in the school district in the middle of Manhattan, Botcher said. Despite all the hand-wringing, though, the measure is primarily symbolic, as all it does is request the state's Department of Education to review the current policy allowing trans athletes to compete in female sports. The purpose of the measure is to change state education policy in the matter to allow parental input. The district also wants the Department of Education to reveal how it is making its decisions and to institute a new level of transparency so that the district officials and parents can see how decisions are made. So we'll see what happens with that. But that very interesting story today, Big D, developing in Manhattan. People are starting to take a position whether or not they enforce it. Well, that'll be another story because I'm sure there's plenty of loopholes there and gray areas naturally. So we'll see. But Riley Gaines was there as well today, so she's obviously supporting this ban as well. And that's a wrap in sports. Big D, back to you.
All right, Slick, very good. People in the great LFS6B audience are already sending in notes to me, and they said one of them I've gotten 3 times now from 3 different people. Alaska that guy said he's a skier in Alaska, and it's
cross country.
Yeah, it's different. The winters are different. Yeah. Alaska got over 100 inches of snow this year. 100 inches.
What is he talking about?
Yeah, look at the Sierra Cascades also. They got slammed.
So
and it's been cold too. I mean, it's
Again, just another expert on a mission to nowhere, these people.
Oh, God.
All right, let's do some news with Rick Delgado. Then we'll do some with David Zier when we get back. What else? What's going on, Delgado?
All right, I don't know where to start, but I'm going to jump off on this one because this one is one that probably flew under everybody's radar as a whistleblower reveals the CIA stonewalled an interview with Hunter Biden's business associate. Huh? Yeah. comes courtesy of a whistleblower, as the House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan and James Comer revealed that a whistleblower disclosed to the committees that the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, intervened to stop the IRS interview of Patrick Kevin Morris, an associate of Hunter Biden. Now, why the hell would they do that? Well, we don't know. They're not talking. According to the whistleblower, in August of 2021, when the IRS investigators were preparing to interview Morris, the CIA intervened to stop the interview. The CIA allegedly summoned the 2 DOJ officials to CIA headquarters in Langley for a briefing regarding Mr. Morris. At that meeting, it was communicated to them that Mr. Morris could not be a witness in the investigation. It is unknown why or on what basis CIA allegedly intervened to prevent investigators from interviewing Mr. Morris. However, these allegations track with other evidence that shows how the DOJ deviated from its standard investigative practices during the investigation of Hunter Biden. And again, this is going to be my theory, my kind of thought process on this. But why would they want to get involved? Why would the CIA want to get involved by stopping the IRS looking into this guy? Well, maybe their investigation would expose someone in the CIA. Possibly. Who knows? I don't know, but it seems to make sense because how else do you explain the CIA getting involved in an IRS matter? It doesn't seem to make much sense. The Republican lawmakers added the account seems to corroborate with their concerns about the DOJ and their process of which investigating Hunter Biden with preferential treatment, which was unearthed as evidence during their impeachment inquiry into his father, President Biden. They asked CIA to provide all records in its possession relating to the DOJ and IRS investigation of Hunter Biden or to Kevin Morris. The CIA does not comment on investigations, their spokesperson said. We can say the CIA cooperates with law enforcement partners, blah, 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 and does not obstruct. But then again, these are professional liars. So do you actually believe they're going to tell you the truth? Nope. Probably not. Anyhow, so there you have it. Another strange little wrinkle that we see. The CIA now involved in the Biden mess.
All right, news with David Zier coming up when we get back live from Studio 6B right after this.
They surely walked them down to like the final, at least the Elite Eight.
All the experts think Kentucky is built for the tournament.
Yeah,
yeah. What
I heard that.
About this one.
Let's see where I had.
They built for the NIT.
Did I have Kentucky going out early? I don't even remember.
It's some of my brackets.
Listen, I don't think anybody had Oakland unless they lived there and they're a fan.
No, nobody had Oakland. Not even Oakland bet on
78-74, 30 seconds. This is trouble here.
Huge trouble.
This is a big upset.
Iowa State is steamrolling.
If you have somebody with a perfect bracket after this game, I'm calling bull. I'm telling you right.
Why can't I find this game? Where is it?
Yeah. 29 seconds. My goodness. Yeah, you know what? 29 seconds in basketball, college is a lifetime. You could IRA could gain 20% interest in 30 seconds. 15
let's see. Okay, I had Texas Tech over UK, and then I had Texas Tech over Florida. So I had Kentucky winning this first game and then going out.
Oh, that's not a big. That's not a big hit for you. Really? That's not a big hit for you then.
Yeah.
I have 2 number ones in the final. I watch you kind of get upset somewhat.
Yeah, I can.
I mean, you got to go here, buddy. Oh, he's just going to pull up.
They got yeah. It's over. That's a big. Now that's March Madness. Oakland beating Kentucky. That is March Madness.
What are they at?
Who?
What's that?
They're up 4.
A 4.
No, they're 16.
Oh, they're a 14. I think they were 14.
Oh, 14?
They were 14.
Oh, okay.
Come on.
I can't see. I bad eyes.
Tennessee don't connect.
That hasn't tipped off yet. I guess they think they're waiting for somebody. They're waiting for somebody to clear the court.
What the hell are you doing?
Watch this. Watch Oakland.
They're playing a real team. That's what they're doing.
Watch Oakland get tight here. They're going to get tight in this last few seconds. You watch this.
No. 18 seconds left, down 4. Forget it. Done. Done.
Wow. What an upset. That's the biggest one of the day. That's much bigger than BYU. BYU was a 6 anyway. They were 6. This is it could be a bracket buster for some people.
Oh.
I told you.
All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night. Real America's Voice. Slick's doing sports. Rick Delgado's going to do a little more news before we wrap it up. But right now, let's do some more news with the host of Breaking Point, Saturday mornings, 8 a.m. right here on Real America's Voice. Who's coming up on Breaking Point this Saturday?
Got a great show for you guys Saturday. So tomorrow I'll be on American Sunrise at 8:45 a.m. on Howie Mandel's take on comedy, moving away from wokeness. But Breaking Point, I have really great guests. Shannon Stevens running here on Long Island, 2nd Congressional District against Andrew Garbarino. She's running a primary. But, the job is like of the Republicans locally and like pretty much everywhere. They want to box out the primary candidates, and make it hard for them to get enough signatures. And then they challenge the signatures. You need 1,200. They get 3,000 just to make sure they can't knock them out. So they fall under the threshold.
It's like Democrats.
But it's just party politics, and it's the way it's always been. And these guys, the district lines are not really in stone. The Board of Elections does not have the information available. So she's unsure on where she should spend the next week. She only has until April 1st to get the 1,200 signatures. So she may lose out because, nobody can explain to her, even at the state level, from any party, what these new lines are. So parts of the district she might be collecting signatures in could be moot. Stay tuned for that. Shannon Stevens, 8 a.m. Saturday morning. And then I got Lee Habib, who's really amazing. He's the host of Our American Stories, a podcast, weekly syndicated radio show. He talks about 1770 and the nation's character and a soon-to-be nation. And how the rule of law set up by Adams and everybody, and how he defended and he prevented the government from being weaponized against political opponents, and we didn't want the court system weaponized, and how it applies 250 years later with Trump. This guy is brilliant. We should have him on here, Lee Habib. And then I got Cameron Hamilton running in Virginia's 7th, who is running in the district, which covers like Fredericksburg, Virginia, where Dave Bratt beat Eric Cantor in 2014, the only election where a U.S. House Majority Leader was ever defeated. Dave Bratt came out of nowhere. That district's run by a Democrat now, but she's stepping down. There's a 5-way Republican primary. This guy's a Navy SEAL. He's really good. And then I got Pastor David Lowry, who's so amazing. I hosted him February 20th from Chicago, the inner city, on how we can get the Republican Party involved more in the inner city because there's a move away. And Ben Berquam's extraordinary footage. He has more coming from Lauren Border this week in Chicago, probably next week, but he's been sharing this amazing footage with Pastor David Lowry in the street. And he had 5 observers, like he told me on February 20th, assigned to him from the Heritage Foundation to go into the polls during the Illinois primary, and they witnessed many, many, many violations in that precinct and several other precincts, and he maintains there's mass fraud going on in Chicago. They didn't even have Republican ballots handy. They were hidden somewhere. There were problems with the machines. He's got it all documented, releasing a report. So stay tuned for that.
Fraud. Saying there's fraud in Chicago is kind of like saying like the sun rises in the morning, right? I mean, is this a surprise to somebody?
Yeah, but he goes in and he actually documents the types of fraud taking place, which probably can be used in Philly and in Detroit and stuff like that. And this report he's going to release is explosive. I promised him I would get it to Lara Trump. I'm sure Ben is going to get the message out there everywhere. These are black people from the inner cities. They're really pissed off, and they're tired of it. And so I just wanted to get to a couple of quick things. Vivek Ramaswamy on the Eighth Amendment and Trump, cut number 3.
The Letitia James crusade against Donald Trump is disgusting and is a threat to every American. When you have prosecutors who are elected to office on a promise of going after one particular individual as she campaigned on, then go on to keep a campaign promise using the legal system to do it, it's unjust. And this particular case reveals how ugly that is. In this case, you're talking about a crime for which there was literally no identifiable victim. The people who did business with Donald Trump weren't individual consumers. They were sophisticated financial institutions who made money from their dealings. And yet Letitia James is using a consumer protection statute to literally make up numbers and say, hey, you have hundreds of millions of dollars in penalties that you owe. You have bond to post by a particular date of an unreasonable magnitude that even no billionaire is regularly able to meet. And to say, if you don't do it, I'm going to start seizing your property. It's disgusting, and it is a threat to not only private property, but threat to the justice system and to the rights of every American. But the good news is there is an argument to push back against this in short order. And that's the Eighth Amendment. The Eighth Amendment prevents the imposition of excessive bail or excessive fines. And if there's ever an example that meets that to a T, it's the bond that's been demanded of Donald Trump in this disgusting New York Letitia James-led prosecution. This is an opportunity for the Supreme Court to step in and say, no, we're not going to stand for this kind of lawfare. Whether it's against Donald Trump or a Democrat, it's wrong. We don't want to empower prosecutors to be able to use bond and bail or bonds as a way of effectively achieving a goal that they couldn't achieve through the front door, which is bankrupting an opponent, even stopping them from being able to appeal those decisions. That's un-American. It needs to end now, not just for the protection of Donald Trump, but for the protection of every American. And in this disaster, I at least see a silver lining of some hope that that's exactly what we'll get from the Supreme Court. It's not just the current justices, not even the conservative ones, that would necessarily agree with this principle. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was a staunch defender of this part of the Eighth Amendment as well. She's no longer with us, but the other justices are. And I hope this can be another 9-0 rebuke of the kind of lawfare that we're seeing against Donald Trump and indirectly against every American in this country today. And I think it could be the most important Eighth Amendment case of the 21st century. I hope they bring it, and I hope they succeed.
You know, this comes as Letitia James is starting to move on Trump properties in Westchester, everything north of Manhattan.
She's got the brass knuckles on. She's moving.
It's a terrible situation. And just really quick, just to recap, there's an epic case going on before the Supreme Court on the 1984 Chevron decision, which requires judges to defer to federal agencies and other government agencies to make determinations. And it's kind of taken the power away, and put it into, that's why we have overregulation. So it cuts both ways, but this is going to be a landmark case because, being in the building industry, like if you have a puddle on your property, EPA comes in and says, oh, that's a wetland. And it's not. And then you get into Fifth Amendment and taking issues, and these regulations that come down are unfair. The fishermen in New England are getting punished because they're forced to hire these observers to go out at $700 a day to go out with them in fishing to talk about overfishing, to monitor overfishing and stuff like that. So there's going to be major repercussions from this. If you're pro-business, you're pro-free market, you want this Chevron decision to be reversed. There is some validity, though, when that we rely on the government for certain things, to regulate certain things. But I think overall, there's been a lot of punitive stuff. Trump removed 400,000 regulations as president, and a lot of those have been put back into play. But this is really important. It's something to watch. I don't know when that decision is coming down, but it goes back to the 84 decision of Chevron versus the National Resources Defense Council. And, the court is going to decide, because it's not just about like the environment and stuff like that. There's repercussions with these cases for like builders and stuff, takings, Fifth Amendment, fair compensation for a public taking, adverse possession, stuff like that. Somebody squats on your property, and then all of a sudden you lose all your rights. So there's other things involved. So it'll be interesting where the court comes down on this.
All right, very good. Anything else, David?
Nope.
So just a couple things before we do some other news. Chip Roy took to the floor tonight to call out the Republicans, but more importantly, call out some of the conservative groups that are supposedly out there. And where are they tonight speaking out against this? And if you could throw up my screen, Aaron, Sean Davis from The Federalist says, a source tells me leaders of a number of these groups were MIA on the spending bill fight because they were on the speaker's balcony having drinks instead of fighting the bloated omnibus. And then, as you can see, Daniel Horowitz says probably the most important thing, which is what I've said all day, and I'm taking grief for it. We could also use Trump at a time like this, which is exactly right. I don't know of a more important time for the former president to put his 2 cents in, given the ramifications of this thing passing. So he's absolutely right. All right, let's do a little more news, and then we'll do sports when we get back and wrap it up for a Thursday. Rick Delgado's got the news. What else is going on?
Well, for my first piece of news, I'm going to actually hand it to Slick Rick. He's got an announcement to make on the tournament. What just happened, Slick?
Yeah, so number 3 Kentucky got knocked out of the tournament by Oakland, falling 80-76. They tried to make a last-minute push there at the end, but then they got into the free throw situation, and, they were able to handle it, Oakland, and get out of there. So Kentucky, chokeland.
Just
Calipari has 1 NCAA win in the last 5 seasons.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Uno.
Games passing him by.
Crazy.
Yeah, cool stuff.
It's that all one and done stuff.
This is what they call it, March Madness. That's why they call it March Madness.
Can't build a team. Anyhow, jumping over to regular news. I know David mentioned it, and let's go into a little bit of the detail here. Significant legal move out of New York, as New York AG Letitia James and her team have initiated steps to seize properties owned by former President Donald Trump following his inability to post a bond of $464 million that you heard Vivek talking about. First tangible indicator is that James filed judgments in Westchester County, signaling the state's readiness to take Trump's golf course and private estate, famously known as Seven Springs, located north of Manhattan. James also set a deadline for March 25th for Trump to fulfill the bond requirement linked to the judgment, although Trump's legal team has indicated posting the bond is an impossibility after approaching more than 30 firms. So just amazing. And this New York Post article.
And you know why the 30 firms, by the way, who might otherwise say, well, he's certainly got collateral enough, he's probably good for it.
Right.
You know why 30 firms have said, no thanks, but no thanks? Is because of exactly what's going on with him.
Yeah.
Because they're looking at this going, well. I don't think I want to become the next business that she targets.
Right.
So she's using her own targeting here to destroy the firms that might otherwise help him, because they don't want to be the next target of her irrational behavior in New York. And this is what we talked about last night. I don't know what the president is supposed to do in this situation.
Yeah. Just amazing. So we'll see how that plays out. Again, a couple more days till this could go into effect. One more quick thing here. Tony
By the way, before you get to that, this is kind of, I guess, breaking news. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if this was an interview or what, but President Trump tonight says that North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum would be, quote, very good at, end quote, serving as vice president.
To who?
What do you think?
All right, what else is going on in the news?
I don't know. That kind of takes the air out of the
yeah, that does take the air out of the room.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, Boeing whistleblower John Barnett, who somehow allegedly committed suicide by himself in his own truck, even though he was happy and ready to go and continuing his deposition against Boeing. Well, turns out, according to him, he had let people know that he felt the company had spies who were spying on him, believe it or not. Lawsuit, of course, making a number of bombshell claims about Boeing, currently under scrutiny after a series of quality control problems, including the door plug fault. What? What are you laughing at?
Aaron's laughing at my Twitter feed. Like, I can't control what's on there. I don't know what to tell you.
So you're not laughing at my story?
No.
Oh.
No.
All right.
No, we got to go, though. We'll do your story when we get back.
He killed himself just like Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh.
If you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, I'll show you why Aaron was laughing.
Don't do that.
During the commercial
No, you have
break.
to. No, I won't.
Now you have to.
I can't control it, Aaron. It's not my post.
Let me see.
I don't know because things. I mean, I don't know. Whoever this. Do I follow this person? Yes, I do. Journalist at the Gateway Pundit. It's not my. What do you want me to do?
Let's see it. Stop talking about it. Let's see it.
I was wondering more about why you left it on the screen so long.
Give a raise to whoever installed this poll.
You know, I had actually shared that with you.
Oh, really?
Yes.
This is somebody from the Gateway Pundit posted it.
And I wasn't allowed to use it for what even is that?
Well, no, I wouldn't have allowed you to use it.
That looks like a good time, David.
He said whoever give a raise to whoever installed this poll. Well, I mean, can't disagree with that.
Come on.
Oh, God.
Hey, David, throw these out.
Yeah, they were shooing. Give him a lead.
Huey says that poor poll. Sumo wrestler in space.
I can't believe that. Those diets.
Oh, God. Can't unsee that. You can't unsee that.
In Japan, it's like 83.
There's your crazy town. Show Damon shoes. I have.
Oh yeah. Show me.
I have nice shoes on. I love these shoes.
Oh really?
These are
rocks.
Berries.
These are Hey Dudes. Hey Dudes. I'm wearing Hey Dudes.
Hey Dudes.
You know what those are, dude?
What, dude?
Of course not. You're
yeah, I know. I'm not up on the fashion with the Hey Dudes.
No, you're not up with the Hey. I bet the audience knows what Hey Dudes are.
It was a Nickelodeon show in the 90s.
They're happening. I'm happening.
Mucking Fad fucking hates my guts.
Whoa, with the language here. I know we're in the break, but
man,
all four people on Kick will be outraged.
Jean-Pierre was on. Man, good Lord.
Hey Dudes, yeah. See, someone knows Hey Dudes.
Hey Dudes, yeah.
That's great.
I was getting ready for supper. I'll pass now. All right, 13 to the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night. Slick's doing sports. Rick Delgado's doing the news. David Zier's doing the news as well. Before we get to sports and a little more news, again, you know, I mean, those who think we're just going to roll into November, well, after this budget passes, I don't even know if it's going to matter. But headline today, wealthy Nikki Haley donors launch an effort to boost Biden over Trump. Media mogul Harry Sloan is working to convince his wealthy friends and Republican business leaders to back Biden. Now, I mean, just think about this. Wealthy donors to former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley's now suspended presidential campaign are flocking to support President Biden's re-election bid. Businessman and media mogul Harry Sloan, a prominent former backer of Haley's campaign, said during a recent interview with CNBC that he had undertaken an effort to convince his wealthy friends and Republican business leaders to get behind Joe Biden. People I know who are generally business Republicans, he said, they're going to hear from me, Sloan told the outlet, admitting he had already reached out to a number of people and planned to eventually host a fundraiser for Biden as the campaign progresses. This guy is the co-founder of something called Global Eagle Acquisition Corp. One source familiar with the effort told the outlet that the least half a dozen former Haley donors had already signed on to lend the Biden campaign a hand. According to the report, Biden campaign co-chair Jeffrey Katzenberg, along with campaign finance chair Rufus Gifford, initiated the effort as part of a larger goal of attracting former Haley supporters disenchanted with the idea of former President Trump as the Republican nominee for president for the third time. So there you go. You're going to have well, they're not Republicans, I guess. No. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
Harry Sloan. All right, let's do some sports, and we'll do a little more news. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. Slick Rick, what's going on?
All right, Big D. Well, let's get right to it. NCAA men's basketball, the big Final Four tournament kicked off earlier today. And, well, we had the first four the last 2 days, but the actual tournament kicked off. Big upset just reported. Number 14, Oakland, beat number 3, Kentucky, 80-76 in the South region. That just went final. And Iowa State, really no challenge there. They took care of business against South Dakota State, 82-65. Games in action right now, just 2 games in action. We have Gonzaga looking to close out McNeese in about 18 seconds, 86-65. And Tennessee right now leading St. Peter's 18-5 with 11:48 to go in the first half. A couple more games tonight. Yes.
Hey, Aaron, put up my screen for Slick to see this. This is person ESPN fan 47377 whatever in our bracket.
Yeah, Kentucky.
Slick?
Yeah, Kentucky.
Picked Oakland.
You're kidding.
Right there, baby.
Picked Oakland.
Wow. We have a ringer. We may have a ringer.
Look at that.
Wow.
That is impressive.
I called it earlier. I said, if I see that, I'm not going to believe it.
There it is.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, Kentucky. I mean, who would expect that? A lot of people out there. It's got to be one of the few in our bracket. Out of 250 people, that's not bad. Pretty good. Unbelievable. So, what are you going to do? Let's see. We get some stuff going on. Oh, yeah, this is, I don't know where this is going to go, but reps for Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani, asked to investigate theft. This is going to go on this story, Big D. I think Tisha Thompson of ESPN, representative of LA Dodgers superstar Shohei Ohtani, have contacted law enforcement authorities and asked them to investigate a massive theft of money from the player. We talked about the story last night. The sources declined to say which agency had been contacted. A Major League Baseball source told ESPN on Thursday that the league has not been contacted by federal authorities. The source said MLB's next step would be to gather facts, which could take time in light of the ongoing federal investigation. I mean, I don't know if this young man that worked for him, this Mizahora guy, he was his translator. Apparently, he gambled away $4.3 million of his money. But how did he miss that, Big D? $4.3 million. I know the guy makes a lot of money, but that's kind of odd, that story. Let's see how that's going to play out.
A little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there.
I guess. Yeah, well, you're right. That's big money.
You got $100 million coming in every 6 months.
Yep. And the NFL owners have said the tush push is going to be back in this year, Big D. They're not eliminating that. There was some talk about pushing that out. The Eagles are going to be able to continue to do the tush push with Saquon Barkley. They're going to be a tough team this year. And that's a wrap in sports. Big D, back to you.
I want to congratulate Ronnie's Picks, who is now the second person in our bracket, who also picked Oakland.
Yeah,
Oakland as well in his picks.
That was their upset. They were on it.
So the first person, the second person, and now there's somebody come and see picks also picked Oakland. A third person with Oakland in our brackets here on the odds makers. And also, I mean, our audience is.
I wonder if they live out west and they knew the team, possibly. You know.
I mean, that is impressive. The 3 people, top 3 right now, who are all going to get, they should get free merch just for picking that game right. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Right.
Well, Oakland did have that kid come off the bench. He hit 10 threes.
Yeah, but who could have picked that, man? Jeez.
Just amazing. Just
That's
amazing
crazy.
performance.
Yeah.
Oh,
all right, let's do a little more news with Rick Delgado. I don't know, do you have anything else, David,
Yes,
you want
I
to get
do.
to?
Only I just want to say Peter Navarro, what a shame what they've done to him.
Yeah.
So our hearts go out.
Especially when you see Hunter Biden with an empty chair with a name tag there.
Yeah.
Doing exactly the same thing.
Yep.
Meanwhile, you can go back in history, other Democrats, Eric Holder and others, same thing.
But Navarro had executive privilege, so.
All right, what else is going on, Delgado?
All right, well, this one, the other network, Fox News, Jessica Tarloff has to retract her statement about Tony Bobulinski's attorney's fees. Impeachment witness Tony Bobulinski's attorney wrote a letter to Fox News Thursday threatening to sue the network and the 5 co-hosts, Jessica Tarloff, for on-air comments he alleged are false and defamatory to his client. Specifically, it says here, and quoted, Ms. Tarloff stated that Mr. Bobulinski's legal fees are being paid by a Trump super PAC. This is unequivocally false and defamatory. Indeed, no Trump super PAC has ever paid Mr. Bobulinski's legal fees, according to the attorney. He wrote in a letter. Tarloff then, of course, later today, issued an on-air retraction. What she was actually trying to say, it says here, what was actually said during the hearing was that the law firm representing Mr. Bobulinski was paid by a Trump PAC. I have seen no indication those payments were made in connection with Mr. Bobulinski's legal fees, and he denies that they were, Tarloff said. So she got the big smackdown. And you know what? This is the kind of stuff that has to happen more often. When these people make these obviously false statements, you have to go after them if they're coming after you. Tarloff made the allegations about Bobulinski's lawyer fees on Wednesday's show of The 5 in a segment about the first public impeachment hearings that same day. And she referenced this during the show, and of course they weren't going to sit down and let this go. So Bobulinski's attorney stood up and pushed back hard, and they got their retraction. So there you have it. And this coming from John Solomon. John Solomon's Just the News.
Yeah. The Kentucky men's basketball chat board has crashed.
What in the devil happened there?
Oh, my goodness. I guess when you get a $9 million life contract and you win one game in 5 seasons in the NCAA, people in Kentucky are not happy.
You know what they're saying in Kentucky? Sound like the Blues right there.
It definitely sounds like the Blues right now in Kentucky for sure.
Whoa, man.
One other thing, I don't have time to get to the whole thing, but just to play devil's advocate, Josh Hammer, who I follow on Twitter, wrote a piece called "Nothing's Better for Republican Unity Than the Democrat Lunacy." Biden and the left are salivating at the chance of bankrupting Trump. But Josh Hammer reveals why the $454 million ruling against Donald Trump will end up costing Biden and the Democrats dearly. So if you want to read this, it's on our social media. He makes a good case for the other side on why this will absolutely spectacularly backfire if she, as she seems to be doing, moving to seize without waiting for any kind of appeals or any courts to take a look at this. So it's on our social media at LFS6B. We want to thank everybody on the show. And as always, we salute our military, active and active, police, firefighters, first responders, EMTs, everybody on the front lines, all emergency personnel, all our truckers, all our farmers. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, Fran. Glad you're back. Most of all, though, thank you to live from Studio 6B audience. We will see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. to wrap up the week right here live from Studio 6B.